Okay, so Britney got arrested for a DUI and they found pills on her. The pills are being tested right now because they might be laced with dangerous substances. And if those tests come back dirty, we're talking jail time. She was driving her black BMW on the 101 southbound near Newbury Park, going way too fast, swerving all over the place. Someone called it in. CHP pulls her over around 8:48 at night. She gets out, officers immediately see she's impaired. They run the field sobriety test, she fails, and they arrest her on the spot for driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs combined. Here's where it gets messy. TMZ says the pills they found were Adderall, but she got them in Mexico. And apparently she's been going down to Mexico constantly. Sources say one of the main reasons is to get medication because it's way easier down there. You don't need prescriptions, you don't need to jump through hoops. But here's the problem. Those pills are being tested to see if they're actually pure Adderall or if they've been cut with something else. Because drugs from Mexico are notorious for being laced with harmful substances. So if those tests come back showing she had serious narcotics in her system, a judge could absolutely send her to jail. Normally for a first DUI, judges don't order jail time. This is Britney's first one. But if the toxicology shows serious levels of narcotics, the judge has complete discretion. Everything depends on what's in those pills. Since the arrest, Britney hasn't left her house. Like, not once. She's been holed up in her LA mansion, completely laying low. Her team is pushing hard for her to get treatment instead of jail time. They're looking into mental health programs, detox, dual diagnosis treatment, anything to get her back on track. Her manager is apparently super determined to get her help. They want her in a facility, not a cell. She's talked to her two sons since the arrest and her mom. Word is her mom is heading to LA to be with her. So family is circling, people are worried, and everyone's trying to figure out what happens next. The official press conference laid it all out. March 4th, around 8:48 p.m., CHP gets a call about a black BMW driving erratically at high speed. Officers pull her over, she's the only person in the car, they notice impairment immediately, run the tests, arrest her for DUI of drugs and alcohol combined. She gets booked into Ventura County Jail. Chemical tests are still pending. And this isn't even the first time she's had run-ins with cops. There was that time she got pulled over for speeding without her license or registration. She was going 60 in a 45, super apologetic. The officer had already stopped her before and gave her a break that time. This time, he wrote her a fix-it ticket, but only gave her a warning for speeding. She had to have security send photos of her license and insurance. The whole thing was awkward, but she was compliant. Then there was that incident on the private jet where police were called because people said she was acting erratic. She was complying with customs, being nice, and it turned into this big thing for no reason. Now everyone's waiting on those toxicology results. If it's just Adderall, maybe she gets off with treatment and probation. But if there's something else in there, jail time becomes a real possibility. People are already spinning theories. Some fans think this is a setup to force her back into a conservatorship now that she sold her music catalog. Like, she's free, she's got money, and now suddenly this happens? They think someone's orchestrating this to get control back. But honestly, a lot of fans don't want to accept that Britney might actually need help. After everything she's been through, the conservatorship, the exploitation, the trauma, it makes sense that she's struggling. Trauma doesn't just go away. It takes over your body, your mind, it changes you. What she went through was intense. 13 years under a conservatorship where she couldn't make her own decisions, couldn't access her own money, couldn't even drive without permission. She was controlled, monitored, medicated, isolated. And when that ended, everyone expected her to just be fine. But you don't go through that and come out unscathed. So yeah, she might be struggling with substances. She might be dealing with unresolved trauma. She might need actual treatment and support. And acting like that's impossible ignores the reality of what prolonged abuse does to a person. Her team is already exploring options: mental health treatment, detox programs, dual diagnosis facilities. They're trying to get ahead of this before it goes to court, because if she shows up in front of a judge with no plan and those test results are bad, the judge might not have a choice but to send her to jail. And that's terrifying, because what happens to Britney in jail? She's already fragile, already dealing with so much. Putting her in a cell doesn't fix anything. People who've loved Britney for years are genuinely scared right now, because there's always been this fear that we're going to lose her, that one day it's going to be too much. And every time something like this happens, that fear gets louder. She's been in the public eye since she was a kid, exploited, controlled, judged, torn apart for decades. A conservatorship stole 13 years of her life. And now, even after she's free, she's still fighting just to survive. Because that's the thing with Britney. There's always someone trying to control her. After the conservatorship, people are hyper aware of that. So when her team starts talking about treatment, fans get suspicious. Is this genuine help or another way to lock her down? But ignoring that she might need help doesn't protect her either. It just leaves her struggling alone. Right now, the immediate concern is those test results. If they show dangerous levels of controlled substances, the legal consequences are serious. A judge is going to look at the facts and the law and make a decision. Britney's team knows this. That's why they're scrambling to line up treatment options now. They're trying to show the court she's taking this seriously, that she's willing to get help. Because if they can present a solid treatment plan, it might convince the judge to go with rehab instead of jail. But it all comes down to those pills. What's in them, what the tests show, and until those results come back, everyone's just stuck waiting. So what happens next? Does she go to jail or treatment? Do the people around her actually help or use this to take back control? Nobody knows, and that's what makes this so scary.